Welcome to Sunday Night Satsang with Michelle and me.
John.
Hello, thank you for joining us on this Sunday evening, for those who are watching it live. And wherever you are in the world, we'd love to hear from you. So if you would like to just type up in the comments section who you are and where you're watching from, we love to hear from you. So thank you for doing that. And if you find what we have to share this evening of any value, if you wouldn't mind just sharing it on your social platforms and pressing the like button. And for those of you watching on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed to our channel already, please do subscribe and press the notification button so that you can be updated with future posts. So thank you for joining us, and tonight we're going to be looking at ending cycles. Ending cycles. Why are we doing that?
Because lots of cycles are ending.
That's right, lots of cycles are ending. Yeah. And as I put in the description below, many people are complaining about feeling a bit exhausted and tired. And that's what happens at the end of a long journey. We normally feel a bit drained. So let us know in the comment section if you are or have been over the last week or so feeling a bit drained and needing more sleep than usual. Let us know, because we'd like to talk a bit about that this evening as to why that may be. So thank you for joining us. We're just going to wait for a few more people to join, and then we will start this evening with a centering meditation. This time that we're going through is presenting many people with a lot of challenges, and we would like to sort it out with the mind. But what is more important than the mind is a greater level of intelligence called life. And meditation is a way of connecting directly with life. When we meditate, which merely means clearing the mind, when we clear the mind, there's an awareness of life itself. And life is way more intelligent than our thinking mind. And so when we are quiet, in that stillness, life talks to us. Ideas, solutions drop in, and we're able to act on that. So it's really, really important as we go through these times of transformation that we meditate more. And so every second Sunday we have this session called Satsang, which just means gathering of wisdom. And we start with an opening meditation and we end with a meditation from Michelle. And Michelle's also going to tell us a little bit this evening about the new moon, which is coming up on Wednesday. Yeah, she just posted. She just posted a new moon update, and those of you who are not on our mailing list, please let us know in the comment section if you'd like to be added to our mailing list. And you're going to talk a little bit about that. I haven't listened to your YouTube, update yet, so I have no idea what's happening in the energies, but it'll be interesting. I'm sure you're going to share some interesting stuff with us tonight. So thank you. Who do we have with us?
We've got Odette and Paula and Sonia, and we've got a few others who haven't told us who they are. So if you don't mind telling us, it would be great, because it's really nice to know who we're speaking to. Otherwise we're just speaking to a fresh air. And Paula, you're in Portugal, I believe. So what's the weather like in Portugal at the moment? You're heading into your winter, we're heading into our summer in the southern hemisphere. Hi Belinda, nice to have you with us as well.
Hi Belinda.
That's great.
Hi Belinda, yes.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so I am going to start the meditation, and more people will join as we're busy here. So just gently, meditation you can do open-eyed or closed eyes. I prefer to close my eyes during meditation. It just helps me connect with my inner stillness. We have a candle that we light on a Sunday satsang. And the other thing we've got on the desk here is a whole lot of affirmation cards. And Michelle's going to draw an affirmation card. Do you want to do it now, actually?
I'll do it at the end.
Okay, so they're the affirmation cards. And Michelle will just choose one randomly. She doesn't select it by seeing it. She selects it on the back of the pack. And you'll incorporate that in the meditation at the end. And that affirmation is really for us as a tool of transformation. So it's a message from our guides and our angels, but it's also a physical tool to rewire the brain so that we can see the world differently. So do stick around for that card at the end. So thank you for joining us, and settle back now, and we will do a little bit of quiet time. Well, you don't do quiet time, you be quiet time. So just settle back, close your eyes, and just take a moment or two to focus on what I call the isness of life. In other words, life just in this moment. And you might like to ask yourself right here, right now, what does it feel like to be alive? How do you know you are alive right now? And as you ask that, generally something sort of shifts. An alertness you might find arising in your awareness. An alertness that doesn't have a label, doesn't have a name, doesn't have a past, and doesn't have a future. It's the awareness of presence. And if you'd like to live your life more calmly, more peacefully, more intelligently, more lovingly, invite this awareness more into your consciousness, the awareness of the isness of life in this moment. Stop, pause, and say, am I alive right now? Yes, I'm alive right now. How do I know that? And in the asking of that question, there's a realization. I am aware. I am aware. And that awareness is presence. That awareness is who you really are. You might give it a name, you might call it being. You might call it life. Doesn't matter what you call it, it's the experience, the direct experience of your own being. And meditation is just clearing the mind so that we can experience ourselves directly, not through concepts, not through memory, but directly in this moment. Who am I? Powerful question. I am this. My fullness is here now. This moment, here and now, is my destination. I am now, in this moment, who I really am. The fullness of life is here with me, right in this moment. Now let's take a soft, gentle, deep in-breath, filling your lungs, and then just surrendering that breath back out again. Try that again, an even deeper breath, right down to the diaphragm. Take a deep breath in, and this time as you breathe out, just release all of the times and all of the places and just be here now in your physical body at this moment. Take a third, very deep breath in. You might like to imagine it going right down to your toes and up to the top of your head, so you're filling your whole body with the sacred breath of life. When you can't breathe anymore, pause and then slowly release it, just surrendering, releasing your shoulders, relaxing your neck muscles, relaxing your facial muscles, relaxing your jaw and your tongue, feeling your eyelids. They're quite heavy in this moment as they relax, smoothing away the worry lines, any worry lines on your forehead, easing the lines around your eyes, relaxing the scalp of your head, and just becoming aware of everything you can hear in this moment. Becoming aware of the faint sounds that may be drifting into your awareness right now. Not needing to label them in any way, just becoming aware of the sounds. And now just step back into that stillness behind the mind and allow the sounds to drift into your awareness, but keeping that stillness as your very own essence. And the sounds that come in do not disturb that inner stillness. That inner stillness is awareness. And you just allow and accept whatever sounds come into your hearing and whatever sensations come into your body. You might be able to, in this moment, to feel the seat, chair, floor or bed, whatever you're sitting or lying on at the moment. Just allow that sensation just to be there in your awareness fully. In a state, in this moment of surrender, complete surrender to the isness of life here and now. Take another soft, gentle, long in-breath again. And release the breath with gratitude. And just rest a moment in this quiet place, this sacred essence of presence. Allowing your body to marinate in the stillness, the quietness, the sacredness of just this present moment here and now. The most sacred place in all of creation is here and now. And feel an expansion in your hearts, an expansion of gratitude for being here. And for the awareness that brought you here. And as you become quiet inside, so you become a channel for higher frequencies of light and love to come into this dimension, this fourth dimensional world. And so you become a channel for transformation, for peace and for healing on planet Earth. Your role is not so much as a human doing, but as a human being, a channel for presence. Right, now softly and gently take another deep, deep, deep breath in. And a long breath out. And when you're ready, you may come back and gently open your eyes. See how you feel in this moment. Maybe type up in the comment section if you would like, and let us know how you feel in this moment. And thank you for being here with us tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
It was lovely.
Thank you.
Thanks. Welcome, everybody. So, it's Sunday again. These weeks seem to fly
They do.
fast.
Time's going fast. Anyone finding that? Anyone finding time going fast?
Just when you've started a week, it's like you're finishing it again. It does seem like it's speeding up somewhat.
It does.
And I know Odette commented that she naps in the afternoons these days. I think you're not the only one, Odette. I know a lot of people are feeling that. So I guess we're going to be speaking about ending cycles tonight. But just in terms of what cycles are ending, and just looking at it obviously astrologically, because that's what I do. We've got cycles all the time. We have a cycle of day and night every single day, and we have the new moon and the full moon, and we have the waxing moon and the waning moon, and we have bigger cycles and smaller cycles, and then we've got the presence that sees all those cycles. So I think that's what I'd like to talk about it tonight. But if we do look at the cycles that are changing, which everybody's talking about, if you follow any other astrologers or any other energy workers or anything like that, it's very obvious that there are major cycles ending and major cycles beginning. And we're kind of in that sort of in-between place, between those. But I think not the danger, but it's to be aware also of not waiting for a new cycle, because then you're actually missing out on what's going on now. And what's going on now is just as important as the new cycles, as the new doors opening. They move together. The cycle that we're in moves into the new. So actually the most important thing is, how are you now? How are you showing up now? Because that's what you're going to carry into the new cycle. It's not going to just be suddenly that a door swings open and everything changes magically, even though that would be nice. It doesn't work like that. So the cycles build on each other. And so if we look at that, and then John and I can discuss that more, because we haven't talked about this at all. We don't generally talk about these themes before we show up in front of you. But if you look at the cycles that are changing, and I've referred to it before, we have, in astrology, you've got personal planets, which are basically fast-moving planets, like the Sun, the Moon would refer to as planets, as well as Mars, Mercury, and Venus. They're quick-moving. So if you're born sort of 2 weeks on, you might have those planets in different places, which is why we say they're personal. And then you have transpersonal and outer planets. And those planets move very slowly. So we feel the energy when they shift into new signs. And recently, and right now, we have planets moving out of signs that they've been in for a very long time and moving into new signs. So there are planets in signs, which is a cycle. So for example, the Saturn cycle begins, all the cycles start at Aries, and they go all the way around at different speeds, and they come back to Aries again. So Saturn has now come back and is coming back into Aries. So it's spending its last few months in the sign of Pisces. So that is around about a 2.5-year cycle, which would have started in March 2023 and will now completely end in February 2026. That's the Saturn cycle. The bigger Saturn cycle is about 29-30 years, and that's the maturing cycle. Then you've got Neptune, which the big cycle of that is 165 years, which none of us have ever experienced because we're not that old. But broken down, and the last time that we experienced Neptune moving into a new sign was 2011. So it's been in the sign of Pisces since 2011. So you might look back on 2011 and you might look back to 2023 as part of the shorter cycles and just see what's changing, what's moving in your life, how you've matured. And because Neptune is the planet that's related to our spiritual connection, it's the ocean of awareness, how that spiritual connection, or how your innermost connection, how your intuition has moved, how you have matured, Saturn, Neptune, spiritually over the last few years, maybe after the last 15 years, 14, 15 years. So that's where the cycles sort of change. And then obviously we've got Pluto, which moves into Aquarius, and that's the first time that's ever happened in our lifetimes because it's got a 248-year cycle.
What does that mean?
Pluto into Aquarius is generally associated, and we've spoken about it before, but it's generally associated with the power coming back. Pluto represents power, the power coming back to the people. So it's often in history, it's lined up with like the American Revolution, the French Revolution, when people said no, they've had enough of the governments or of the way the hierarchy are running things, and they actually wanted their way. So it's often associated with some kind of revolution or rebellion, because Uranus is the sign, Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. Aquarius is the sign that's often related to sort of rebellion and unpredictability, quick changes, sort of people thinking outside the box, not the norm, not following the normal, this is the way things work, the rules. It's kind of the rule breaker of the zodiac. So that's happening again. Now, we don't know what will happen because we've never been here before. Pluto's been there for a little while now. And then the other part of Pluto in Aquarius is definitely AI, because Pluto will be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. And so AI and the technological space that we find ourselves in, the digital space that we find ourselves in, that's going to amplify. And how do we work with that? So those are all old cycles. But what I really wanted to say was that from my perspective, it's not about wanting the cycle to be over. It's about honoring the fact that we're part of the cycles because we're not separate from them. We're part of Gaia's cycle because Gaia is transforming and transmuting and changing. So it's not to want something new, because then we're missing the point. Anyway, that's a little bit more on cycles. We can go on forever about that. And then we've got a new moon on the 19th or the 20th, depending on where you live. Most of you are probably going to experience it on the 19th. And that's going to be in Scorpio. The energy is already in Scorpio, and it's a very, it's a triggered kind of energy, simply because the sun is opposite a planet called Uranus, which is the planet of change and unpredictability, and it can be sort of shocking new revelations. Mercury is retrograde. I've just done my video, so you can look at that if you want more detail. But if you are feeling very tired, then that is part of these cycles ending, because we're supposed to be letting go, we're supposed to be releasing, and sometimes it's tiring. It's the end of a cycle, so we don't know exactly what's going to happen when everything starts moving directly again. We also have 6 planets. Did you know there's 6 planets retrograde? And retrograde energy is inner energy. It's coming back, it's stepping back, it's slowing down. It's not necessarily moving forward, even though we want to move forward. Retrograde energy is re-looking, reviewing, re-seeing. It's retreating. And so there's 6 planets retrograde right now, including Mercury. Mercury retrograde is often aligned with things going a little bit belly up in terms of communications. I had one of those today. Or transport, travel arrangements often get messed up, or your data goes wonky, or things like that. So it's always a good idea to just back up your devices during Mercury retrograde, especially this one.
Yeah. And the one cycle that you mentioned there is possibly a death and a rebirth. You talked about Mother Gaia going up to another level. And whenever you want to go up to another level, the old level has to dissipate, has to release its hold on you. So we're going at the moment maybe from a fear-based reality, a 4th dimensional dimension, into the 5th dimension, which is more on community, on connection, and the word that we use to describe this is love, which is your sense of oneness. And that is, it's an ending of a very old cycle of separation, because that's what fear is. The energy of fear is all about, it's me versus the other. It's me versus the world. I am separate from the universe. I'm separate from God. God's over there and I'm over here. And that perception is now dying and leaving us. And we are now ready, or being readied, for the birth of new consciousness coming into us. And the Mother Gaia is going through the same process in herself. And our bodies and our minds are tied very much to electromagnetic grids that emanate from the center of the earth. The center of the earth is not molten lava as we were taught, well, I was taught at school anyway. It's crystalline in nature. And crystals are receiver and transmitters of information. So we're getting information transmitted to the earth from our sun, and that is then transmitted to the surface of the earth where we live. And our sun, by the way, is getting its information from the deeper sun. So it comes through there and then it's transmitted to the surface, and our bodies and our minds react to these changing energy patterns. And in that process of transformation, it's going to be quite taxing on the physical body. But you know, on the mind, for example, which likes predictability, it likes to know what's going on, and there's uncertainty, so that will be maybe stressful to a certain degree for many people if we're not in a surrendered state and a state of trust. And the other one is be physically taxing, could be physically taxing on the body. You might find, for example, that your body becomes even more sensitive to the lower vibrational energies, maybe even food or music or drink or even people. And they may drain you. You know, if you have a glass of wine, maybe you used to have a few glasses of wine and that was fine, and now you find your body just can't take that anymore. Or you might be able to go out, you used to maybe go out and get takeout food, and that vibration, that very low vibration of food, just doesn't resonate with where you're at now, and that'll be taxing on the body. So it's at this time it's to be kind to your body, kind and nurturing, as you mentioned the word retreating at this stage. So it's to retreat from all that isn't in alignment with the higher order of things. The higher order of things is going back to real connection with Mother Gaia. So, for example, on a food point of view, what's real connection with Mother Gaia but organic food, where the food produced in factories is produced through the energy of fear, which rules money. And so that food is tainted with that old 4D energy, where when we are able to get our hands in soil and or buy from other people who are very heart-centered in what they're doing and producing the food, that is going to nurture and be in alignment with the higher frequency that Mother Gaia is now offering the physical body as we make this transformation. So just be aware that as we go through this transformation, it's to be kind to the body. If you're tired, rest. Take more time out to be centered, to be present, and to meditate.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more, especially with the very, very current energy now. It's the end of the year, we've got retrograde planets, we've got ending cycles, there's so much. Not just that, there's all sorts of other things happening in our cosmos that are having an impact. So it's really just to be more and more kind, as you said, with ourselves, and to just see also that, for me, it's also about, you mentioned the love and the structure and all of that. And so our lives have been very, very focused over the last centuries on the outer, on achieving, on doing, on pushing, on forcing. And I believe that especially this Saturn-Neptune conjunction that's coming and going to be moving together in Aries, which is a new start, Aries is a new start, is basically saying our reality is shifting. And it's not that it's ever been different, but what we are realizing now is that the energy side of things is actually real. And the structural side of things that we've always seen as real might not be so real. Because that is a result of energy, that is transitory. I mean, everything in form, everything is going to disappear. I think Eckhart said all structures are impermanent. All structures are impermanent. They're going to go. But we've put all our attention on structure. If I do this, then I'll get that, then I'll be happy. It's been on the outer side. And we've ignored what the actual universe is made up of, which is energy. We are pure energy. We're vibrating energy. And so I feel that the focus needs to come back to that. And that's part of us just being able to say, you know, my energy's feeling quite low. I need to rest. I need to slow down. Or I'm not going to go there because right now I don't feel like I can or I want to, and I'm going to look after my energy. So I think it's just to become more conscious of energy, as you say, of things that drain our energy, of thoughts that drain our energy, of those old cyclical patterns that go round and round and round, the way we react to somebody, the way we respond to somebody, the way so many people, especially in this day and age, seem to take offense at everything. To look at those old patterns, that's part of this, especially this new moon coming up. what are the old patterns, and do we want to carry them through with us, because it's not going to be comfortable and it's not going to serve us if we carry them through. So it's not about waiting for something new to happen. It's about saying, what do we want to actually be in this new energy, and how best can we navigate this new energy, because we don't quite know what it's going to look like. So the more centered we are, and the more kind we are, and the more in tune we are with our energy and with the energy of those around us, the easier I think it is going to be to navigate.
Yeah, and part of this transformation, the main part which you also covered there, is to let go of the reliance on form for informing you how to feel. So we in the past have gained our inner world so much based on the outer world, and the outer world becomes unstable, and if we are totally leaning on that instability, we're going to find the instability within us being activated, and that isn't too comfortable. And part of the cycle, so for example, I think Adette mentioned in the moment, she's excited about the new door, and that is based on form. If you just think of doors as in form, there's a door and I'm waiting for that. So what happens if the old cycle, the cycle of the Kali Yuga, for example, which we are now coming out of and entering the Dwapara, which is the age of energy, so we're going from material physical matter, or the Iron Age, and we're moving into the Energy Age. It's a long process, but it's happening. What if that the physical world is predicated on time? And what happens if now, in order to make this transformation within our awareness, within our consciousness, we have to let go of time? So waiting for a new door is still being caught in time. So we haven't actually let go of the old mindset. Time and mind are one and the same. You can't have time without mind, or mind without time. So part of this is a radical new shift in perception. Instead of waiting for form to be a certain way so that we can feel a different way, is to take the creatorship that we have, the creatorship that we've been given, to start creating the internal world the way we want it. And paradoxically and miraculously, as we create the inner world the way we want it, the outer world, because we're now moving into the age of energy, will start to reflect in a real way the energy that we are holding on the inside. So one of the most important questions we can ask ourselves is, what do we want? What do we want? And we might say, for example, I want a better relationship, or I want a more stable career, I want a better bank account, or whatever it is. And then you say, well, really, is that what you really, really want? You might get that relationship, you might get that career, you might have that very secure job or bank account, whatever it is. And it may still not give you the feeling you want. You may get that relationship and still feel insecure. You may get that relationship and still feel unloved. You may get that relationship and feel insecure in that relationship, or confined in that relationship. It doesn't give you what you hoped it was, because what you really wanted, you weren't honest about. What you really wanted was a feeling inside. You didn't want the relationship. You wanted the relationship to give you a feeling. You didn't want the big bank account. You wanted the big bank account to give you a feeling maybe of security. You didn't want that career. You wanted that career to give you something, maybe a feeling of creativity or expansion. So it's to realize that what you really want is the feeling, is that feeling. And it's to identify what the feeling is, maybe the feeling of joy when you wake up in the morning, maybe it's a feeling of inspiration, maybe it's a feeling of love. Focus on that feeling, and then realize that that bank account, that relationship, the weather is not directly responsible for giving you that feeling. You're responsible for giving you that feeling. And then you take back your power, because this is part of the thing you mentioned earlier about the revolutions that have taken in the past. Yeah. And it's about taking back the power. The people taking back the power from the external world. Yeah. So now we are taking back our power from the world of external form and empowering ourselves with our true creatorship, and that is to create the energy field that we want within us and allow it to be in alignment with what I call the vertical plane, which is the timeless essence of being. Love is not reliant on time. Bliss is not reliant on time. Peace is not reliant on time. It's reliant upon us stepping out of time, out of mind, into the present moment. So that's part of the energy that you were talking about earlier. It's empowering ourselves with our true authentic being rather than relying on governance from outside of us. But the first step is to know what it is you really, really, really want. That's really important.
Yeah, brilliant. It's exactly. And it's also to just see, where and who are we giving our power away to? Because are we giving it away to the thought that maybe this person who comes into power is going to change everything? Or that the 3-hour atlas is suddenly going to change everything? Or that an eclipse is suddenly going to change everything? Because in recent years it's become more and more like that. That suddenly there's these sort of sensational things that keep coming up. Tomorrow, and then, there's millions of videos out there that are all clickbait, all telling you that tomorrow everything's going to change because this is happening. No, it doesn't work like that. Cycles don't work like that. And so it's almost like a lot of desperation in that when this happens, then it's going to change. And then there's these ups and downs because everyone's building themselves up, this new thing that's going to happen tomorrow, and then it doesn't happen. And then it's
Or does happen and doesn't bring them the feeling.
Or it does happen, or something happens and it doesn't bring them the feeling there because it's not on the outside. So I completely agree with you that this Pluto in Aquarius is realizing that the power that we're looking for is here. It's not out there. And who are we giving our power away to? If somebody has been nasty to us or has been there's been conflict, are we giving our power away to them? Are we literally draining our power and pulling our plug out and plugging it into them and saying, okay, here, you can have all my energy. I'm just going to give it to you in a hose pipe. Take it. Until we realize, no, actually, I don't need to do that. I can keep it for myself. I can keep it here. I can stay here. And so it's actually looking to see where we are sending our power on any given day. Are we sending it into the future, into the past? Are we focusing on what we want that we don't have? Or are we replaying stories that have been going on and on and on with a certain person or a certain situation? And it's okay if we have been doing that. It's perfectly normal. It's just that that's what's changing. And so if we do want to enter into sort of a new way of being, let's just call it a new earth, it starts with us. It doesn't start out there. Nobody's coming to save us necessarily.
Yeah, and on that line, you said about giving your power away to people who disempower you. But what about giving your power away to people who you imagine are going to empower you? For example, many people are waiting for another Messiah to come and save them, or maybe, aliens coming down to save us. And that's giving our power away. We're giving our power away. And this shift, this cycle, this ending of the cycle, is to realize that it's not out there. The Savior is not out there. There was a teacher 2,000 years ago that was so clear on this. It's here. It's right here. God is not a being. God is being itself. And you are, at your true essence, being. So recognize that to give your power away to some external God, for example, that old belief pattern, that old cycle that we've been programmed with, now has to be let go of. And we have to realize our true divine power, authentic being. That's part of this realization that we're going through. The word realization means to see with real eyes, not the eyes of the programmed mind, through our education, through our socialization, through our religious upbringing. But to see with real eyes what is here, what is now, what is beautiful, what is perfect, and what is sacred here in this moment. And that's quite a radical shift from the fourth dimensional world into the fifth dimensional world. And the way that many of you have seen my model already, from the horizontal plane into the vertical plane, from time into present. That really is a shift that we're making at the moment. And to realize that the world here within us, we've always been creating on the outside, but now we're empowered with the power of co-creatorship. That what we hold here manifests quite quickly on the outside, and to take ownership of that power. So I mentioned earlier, I just want to go back to it, the Kali Yuga, the Iron Age, the objective world out there of objects, into now the Dwapara, which is the age of energy. The age of energy. And we start to realize that the most powerful point within us for transmitting and creating energy is the heart. Not the brain, but the heart. And to find what energy are we radiating from our heart. Is it resentment? Is it anger? Is it jealousy? What are we creating? What world are we now creating for ourselves? And to then choose again, choose more wisely.
And whatever world we are living in terms of that, is what we are going to carry through into the next cycle.
Yeah.
So it's not that suddenly that's going to radically just change. It's we have to align. And so if we are, as in John's model, in the vertical, and we are as present as possible and vigilant about being as present as possible, and we'll go off and we'll come back, and we'll go off and we'll come back, it's okay. You come back and you realize that, yeah, I went off there, but I'm coming back. Then we are actually from that place prepared for whatever is going to happen. Let's just say we do get a visitation from alien beings, or something does happen that radically shifts everything. We're much more able to deal with it if we're actually here than if we're all over the place, and if we're on the outside of the circle spinning around at a rate, because we're going to spin out. So this is the way to actually navigate whatever comes. The beautiful, the difficult, the challenging, whatever it is, the power that we are looking for out there is not out there. The stability that we're looking for out there is not out there. And so I feel that this is what the shift is. And the more conscious we can be of it, the more conscious we can be of our energy at any given moment. And honor the energy. Honor it. And then know that you have the power within you to shift it. You might not be able to shift the other person, but you don't have to. It doesn't matter. We just shift ourselves.
Why would you want to shift the other person? Again, you'd want to shift the other person so you can feel differently.
So you can feel better about yourself.
But you can do that irrespective of the other person. That's the empowerment of the fifth dimension, when you take back your power. From your mother, from your father, from your sister, from your brother, from the government, from the weather, and from that neighbor, that annoying neighbor, or whatever it is.
You can easily get drawn into it.
Yeah. And the other part about the ending of cycles, because that's the topic for tonight, ending of cycles. And you mentioned earlier about spinning out. So if you like to imagine in your mind, you have a bicycle wheel. And on the rim of the wheel, you have the physical dimension, the fourth dimension. And these are where the cycles happen, going around and around and around. And maybe the cycles used to be very slow, but that wheel is definitely spinning faster and faster as we move through these times of transformation. You know, if you're in chemistry and you want to create a chemical reaction, you have to heat it up and stir it. So that agitation creates something new. So that's what we're going through. We're being stirred by the media, by maybe relationships, and we're being given heat. You know, they talk about global warming, but there's energies coming through that really heating us up and stirring us, which is great, because from that comes an alchemy of transformation takes place. But the biggest shift we have to make is a shift from complete identification with the circumference of the wheel, which is spinning around and around, repeating cycles, to the realization that I am the center. I am the hub, right in the middle. Now, in that realization, you can call that center being, if you like, In that center, there is no time. It's just awareness. And there's a stillness, which we connected to in the opening meditation. And that stillness doesn't move through cycles. Stillness doesn't have cycles. There's no time. You need time to have cycles. You need mind and time to experience cycles. When you come into your center, the I am, that I am, doesn't have cycles. It's always complete and whole in this moment. And so the major shift in cycles is to end cycles and to come back home to the center, which you've always been, but you've lost yourself in a story in the matrix, which is on the circumference of the wheel where the mind operates, where it's like almost like in a cinema, if you can imagine, that you get the projector shining through the film and then projecting shadows on a screen. We've been so enamored and caught up and mesmerized by the screen that we forget that the only thing real is actually the light. And that film that blocks the light, that creates the story, is the mind. The mind creates the story. So it's to come back to the awareness behind the mind that never moves. And that's the center of the wheel, and that's the ending of cycles. It's very tiring, very stressful to remain on the circumference as it speeds up. You'll feel drained. The more you come into this, what's called the meditative state, just a state of no mind, in this present moment, you make the present moment more important than the story, you find there's a retreat. That's what you're retreating from the mind and coming into that oasis of renewed energy. So that's really another incentive to spend more time as we go through this, more time in a meditative and a no-mind state, because that will re-energize and revitalize your physical body.
And I think it's a good idea to up that time that we spend in a meditative state, or just in a state of nothingness. No voice, no music, no nothing, just being. And then notice the agitation, notice the restlessness. It's okay to be restless, it's okay to be agitated. It's just to notice it and to actually just honor the stillness. And then during the day, I always say it, but during the day, pause. If you find yourself going into the story, you find yourself getting into the drama, if you find yourself getting into the old story, it's okay, but bring it back. As soon as you notice it. It's a bit like we were talking earlier about relationships. If you have an argument with someone, people have arguments, people have disagreements, people have conflict. It's not about that. It's about how quickly do you come back to your center? How quickly do you come back to, yeah, okay, we're back. That's all it is. It's just coming back to that hub. It's a very good image, the circle with the hub. It's just easy. Just, I got off. got dragged off there, and I've been spinning out, but I can come back. And the knowingness that you can come back is the stability. That is the security. Because it doesn't matter what happens, you can come back. And you can hold a space for whatever happens in a mature state of just, I can deal with this right now. Of course I can. The thoughts about it are a different story. Because the thoughts about the situation that might happen or might not happen or might unfold, that's what stresses us out.
And they're all on the circumference of the wheel.
And they're on the circumference of the wheel, yeah.
And mind and time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is that. Yeah. And just to know that your point of power is in the present moment. The present moment is always the center of the hub, and your point of power is in the present moment. And you can always deal with the present moment, because you always have, and the present moment is something that can't be threatened, and all your needs are always met in presence. And when you know that, and when you live your life from that state of awareness, life becomes easy, life becomes joyful, and that is the fifth dimension.
And it's always a choice.
Yeah, it is a choice.
It's a choice. We were talking today, we had a little community gathering, and we were just talking about how things change depending on your mood. You go out the door in a bad mood, and you're quite disgruntled, and you will meet disgruntled people. And then you shift your energy, and you smile at someone, and lo and behold, they smile back. That is the way it works. And we have the power to choose how we're actually going to engage with others, with different situations. It's just, I think it's the choice.
It is, yeah. There was Viktor Frankl in his book Man's Search for Meaning. He said everything can be taken from a man but the last of human freedoms. The freedom to choose your attitude in any given circumstance. And when you come into presence, there's only the attitude of love. There's only an attitude of acceptance when you're here in reality. When you're in the mind, there's a whole host of other attitudes that one can have. But when you come into reality, which is always presence, there's peace.
Yeah, and it's just not to beat yourself up if you do go into those old patterns, because those old patterns are coming up at the moment, so that we can see them,
exactly,
and we can go, oh my gosh, look, I went right back into that drama, and I don't have to. Okay, that's it. And then to immediately right there and then forgive yourself, coming up so that you can see it, and then you can make a different choice.
It's all about empowering yourselves and knowing that even this is perfect. Whatever it is in your life, even this is perfect. And that's the awakening. That's the awakening. Right, so you selected one card from the pack. My goodness me, and that card, it's a purpley card, and it's like representing the crown chakra, so it's higher guidance. And you're going to incorporate that in your meditation. Good, super. Thank you.
Okay, so just settle in. Take a beautiful deep breath in. And then a long, slow, beautiful out breath. Breathing out. And another long, slow breath in. Let's breathe into the count of 4. And then breathe out to the count of 7. Let it all out. And another breath in to the count of 4, all the way up to the top of the chest. And then a real sigh. Release it all out. Let all the air come out of your lungs. Feel your body just starting to relax and soften and open. Just allow a wave of relaxation to move through you from the top of your head all the way down into your face, softening the little muscles around your eyes, softening the muscles around your mouth, into your neck. Allow your neck to move a little bit as it softens the neck. Move it into your shoulders and allow your shoulders to drop and soften, open. On each out-breath, releasing more and more, allowing more and more, opening more and more. Bringing this wave of relaxation all the way down your back now, down your spinal column, into all the muscles in the back, on the front of your torso, into all the bones and organs and everything that keeps you alive. Down into the pelvic area, releasing. All the way down into the buttocks, into the legs, the knees, the shins, the ankles, into the feet. Just connecting with your whole body now. In a relaxed, present state. Notice the sounds in the room around you. Not following them, Just noticing them. Being aware, being the aware, alert presence. Simply listening. Noticing the temperature of the air on your face. Noticing the sensation of your clothes on your body, where you're touching the chair and the floor. Again, not attaching any story to these observations, just noticing, allowing it to be as it is. Noticing any thoughts that might arise. Consciously just bring yourself back to the breath in this moment, gently. There's no struggle. It's not difficult. You're just coming back, you're leaning back into this present moment. You're aligning with the vertical plane, which is where you're open to guidance, intuition, love, peace, joy. Imagine a beautiful vertical light coming down all the way from above your head, all the way through your body and into the ground beneath you. And focus on widening that beam of light, so that it really becomes you. You're part of it. You're fully aligned with this moment right now. This peace. Where there's nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing to fix, nothing to achieve. Just this moment. Allow yourself to open more to this moment than you have done before. Allow this to expand, this awareness to expand. And as this presence expands, it ripples out into the energy field around you and affects great change. Our affirmation card for this evening and for the week is: I choose to see peace instead of drama. So just imagining in your mind's eye the circle, the spinning circle, and allow yourself to go right into the middle of that circle. There's a beautiful light there. And that circle and the light is right inside your heart. This is the choice. The drama is on the outside of the circle. And with 1 or 2 breaths, you bring yourself back into the middle of the circle, into your heart space. So during the week, if there happens to be drama around you at all, you can repeat this very useful affirmation. I choose to see peace instead of drama. And just feel that peace growing inside you. And know that it's very easily accessible. It's not outside. It's right here, right now, inside you. And now taking a deep breath in and out. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes if you haven't already.
Thank you. That was beautiful. How do you feel in this moment? Do you feel the power of that beautiful meditation? Thank you for being with us tonight. I'll photograph that and put that up on the Journey's Facebook page, and you can use it. Where is it? You can use that as the affirmation to guide you through the new moon, which happens on Wednesday, and through the next couple of weeks, and we'll meet up with you in 14 days' time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
God bless.
Thank you.